So we're gonna go over the VIX and the Dow, and then we're gonna go over Bitcoin real quick. And I think that's kind of like maybe all, but that's probably gonna be the easiest. So I do expect a reversal in the dollar index of the DXY. I don't really know how far it's gonna go. I could definitely see it coming back up to around this 103.6 level right here. So I mean, here, let me just show in. So we talked about this the other day, possibly having something nice like this that'll then push up. I still think it looks pretty likely. Whether it really gets past what's going on here or what happened here, if I had to guess on odds, I would say no. Sure, it's possible, but I think it's a lot less likely. Personally, what I think is going to happen is that we're going to push up to this area, we're going to fail back down under, and then from here we'll make our way down to around 100 before bouncing. It could go down to 98. 98's a lot sketchier, as I said before. If it goes to 98 and bounces, it could be a hard bounce, but it's still going to have to get back up above here for it to really be something crazy and sizable. I don't think it's just one of those things. I don't think I need to go into too much depth with it. So let's kind of go over to the VIX right now. I'm not surprised that we pushed up per se. Uh, the most bullish thing it's fairly so there's kind of like mixed signals. So as I was saying in the last video, if we start under here on a week or a month, which we could have on Monday or I guess Tuesday because markets are closed Monday, then I think we could have had a lot of bullish signs from the VIX. The one thing I'm not a huge fan about is we did start the week relatively close to the 200 the 200 smooth moving average. I don't know why I'm just a little slower now, but the 200 smooth moving average. So we start here. It's not to me. It's more likely that we're going to push down if we started anywhere down here. We could push down into this, and then we're going to have more room to go up before we hit resistance. So even if we just see it's a decent level of resistance, not just where it is now, but also in the past, it's been pretty spot on. So that's not really too surprising. So, and I guess I'll kind of sum this up, which makes it seem a little weird. When I look at the dollar, I think the dollar wants to keep pushing up. I think it wants to just get wrecked back down. I think the VIX is going to push down. Now, the VIX might not have, like I said, I think the dollar index is more of an indicator right now than the VIX really is. One other thing I was seeing on the VIX that made this seem like, if I can remember where it was specifically, I don't remember where the spot is specifically, but there was another time where the VIX was fairly close to this level where it usually shoots up, and it started somewhere around here in this area also as well, and it ended up just pushing back down. So I don't think it just because the VIX pushes down, it's any signal that it's going to fall through it and stay through it on a week or a month time frame or like candle change. So I don't really think that there's anything super bullish or like super bearish on the VIX, but bullish towards the market and from that perspective. Um, we'll just kind of have to see with it. The dollar is a little bit weird. I know there were some really bad earnings today. I think for some of the ones on the Dow, like Dow's down, sure, like almost 400 points. But I believe it was, let me see if I can find what it was. It was pretty bad, pharma. Let's do change. Yeah, Goldman Sachs. I think Morgan Stanley was fine though, but Goldman Sachs, not 10 cent. Travelers, okay. This is another one that was down big. I feel like those were the only real ones that I remember. That's actually pretty interesting though to see seeing this. This is actually pretty interesting. Well, I guess I'll say this. I don't want to go into too many of these. I do think that the dollar is going to push up a little bit more, even if it's only about zero point 0.9 points. So about that 103 point, was it 103.6 more or less? It could end up pushing through here. This is not a weak spot. Now, I think coming down here is a lot stronger, and I think it's a lot easier for it to get rejected up here just based off of technicals. If really bad stuff happens, sure, it could push it through it, and I do think this is a pretty decent area for it to bounce also as well. My biggest concern is that we did all of this already, and from a technical perspective, that makes it a little bit difficult. So from the average being a good average, and from all the averages being good, we're at a nice spot. It's just one of those things where, like, why did we do this here? And I guess the easiest example, or to show something similar, is kind of how I felt about. I think this is what it was. I think it was like around here. Maybe this isn't like the best example. I believe it was on the day time frame, but essentially we do this, and that line's right here, and then we finally come down to it. So it makes sense that it pushes down, it comes back, okay, then it fails down. It wasn't too crazy surprising. I don't want to go too much into this because I feel like there's more determining the movements here than just technicals. So I don't want to make like a direct comparison or anything. Though you could have something similar for the dollar too, I guess, happen as well. But just the same kind of thing where, hey, we're like right above this. Can we just get a little, can we just touch the line? And that's kind of how I felt for a lot of this in December, or from mid-December to January. So we kind of look at that. Let's go over to Bitcoin right now. I think Bitcoin still looks okay. Let me pause real quick. I just need to take a quick drink. Okay. So pretty much for Bitcoin, let's zoom out. I guess we'll show it the daytime frame. Let's do this. So we can see here, day starts above, day starts above, day starts above. We haven't actually exited this small range here, and we certainly aren't above 22,400, but it hasn't started a single day under. I guess you could say a little bit of strength here also, because every day started here, and one of them was a Sunday, that the week did start in this also as well. So that is something. I don't think it means that it's going to keep going up per se. We did beat this left side where things look with the dollar. I don't think it looks amazing, but it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. For me, if I'm considering this coming down, okay, I'll put it this way. Just to reiterate in the other ones, I don't like, unless something looks like super, unless something an altcoin looks super amazing, and someone's looking at it here and there. I don't like the idea of being any altcoin over Bitcoin. As I've said before, if Bitcoin shoots up, the altcoins are going to get hurt a lot more. And if Bitcoin shoots down, the altcoins are going to get, or if Bitcoin shoots down, the altcoins lose more. If Bitcoin shoots up, the altcoins don't gain nearly as much. Right after Bitcoin usually shoots up in certain places, you can then switch over. I don't like where it is. I don't like. I don't like this area whatsoever at all. So I think it makes just a lot more sense to try to play for this area. I don't think it's just going to shoot up through this area. And that's just kind of how it is. I'm not a huge fan of screwing around in this area. But we'll see if there looks like there's any. I mean, there's so many alts, I can't go through all of them. But that's essentially where we are right now. So any sort of reversal, maybe we see a weak start back on it. 20,850 is still the level, just to kind of put it simply. I think on the 1 hour it came up and caught this, which was fairly nice for what it was. Pushed it up. Now we're back under it. So we'll see. We'll probably fall under this. I mean, if it is going to fall under, it would be something, what, 7 o'clock. So sometime in the morning tomorrow, if it's going to fall under. I don't know where the 2 hour is, though. It should be pushing up. Yeah. So the 2 hour, let's do this. Do something like that. It's not the best, really, but so where do we hit here? The same thing, just looking for like a lower low. So is that Wednesday? Is that tomorrow? Yeah, so 7 o'clock. Okay. So I'm not really too worried about this. Like there's so many good things. There's so many things that look good about this. And there's so many things that look sketchy at the same time. So it kind of is what it is. It's not a huge deal. The whole place was, when I was initially saying it, was January 1st. And then you have this. this, and then more or less kind of like close the position, leave a little bit running if someone wants to. But at the end of the day, that still hasn't proven wrong, because from here we're up what, 2.5%. So nothing's really been missed out. The possibility of buying back in this, or it's still there. It hasn't really done much. And I think it's still been pretty sketchy for a lot of this stuff. So we'll see how some of the stuff develops. Looks like, the dollar's still just constantly pushing up, which is fairly interesting for what it is. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see with all that. So I don't want to get into too much. I guess the last wrap up is, I feel like the VIX is going to go up, just how some of the stuff looks, but I think the VIX still has some room to go down. I think the dollar still looks good to go up another zero point 0.8 point, or I guess not zero point 0.8 points, but like, yeah, right, zero point 0.8. I guess that is what you say, right? Or 800 basis points. No, that's something way different. It's so late. I've been studying all day. Anyway, 102.3, 102.6. It looks like it go up to 102.6. So zero point 0.8 points, I guess. That's what it looks like it can go up to. It could push past this. That's what looks likely. So a little, still kind of back and forth with the VIX and the dollar index. I still think the dollar index is more important. I wouldn't be incredibly worried about Bitcoin. I really don't like how it looks right here, but it's still in a position on more of a macro level, in my opinion, where it can still just push up through this. So, I mean, it has been getting higher highs. It's going to have to kind of do that. The main point is it needs to not fall under 20,840 or 850, and preferably probably start a day or a week under there. I think that would be one of a bigger indicator of it kind of turning around. So, but we'll see when stuff opens tomorrow. If the market doesn't look that good, what's going on with the Nikkei? I just want to see this real quick because this is okay. Okay, whatever. Um, Hang Seng. Okay, so that's finally caught up. Might be reversing back, moving for a big, fairly decent move downwards. Might be something that's coming up on the Hang Seng. I wouldn't be, I would be surprised if I saw something like that. I don't even think there's anything up here. UK's just got, yeah, they're just off a cliff. I mean, not off a cliff. They're just like in space right now. Let's see. Interesting that the dollar's pushing up, and it looks like the futures are still pushing up, even though this is 15 minutes delayed. Where's NASDAQ? Let's see. What do we have here? I mean, still feels like, I mean, we'll see. I think we talked about this one point, like here and here, something up there. These are kind of the ranges. So I could still see it pushing up. The dollar makes me seem a little sketched. Let's see what we can find. Anything interesting? I guess Amazon's up a little bit in the last couple days. Down from here, nothing too crazy. I guess for Amazon, the big turning point would be the 200 smooth here. This is kind of nice. This is at 99.54, but we're not above 99.54, so something to look out for. Mara's been doing some pretty decent stuff. Did pretty well here at the 730. I'm surprised that it held so well in this area. Almost fell through too. But this is just going up with Bitcoin, so there's nothing really too surprising here. AMC, nice day start on AMC. Well, I guess not a nice day start, but let me move. It's supposed to be here. But I would say nice selling down. It's always weird to see people do stuff like this. Like you start at 539 and you sell it 6% down on the day. I wonder if they sold this down right at the start of the day. It did kind of sell it down right at the start of the day. But I mean, it's pretty much selling for what? Is it an hour and a half? Yeah, selling for an hour and a half. Interesting. I don't know why they did that, but it kind of is what it is. So we'll see what happens with some of these people. I don't think there's anything specific. I don't know the fundamentals of AMC right now. I really don't care. See what fun's doing. Definitely sketchy with fun. If I was in this, I would have. I mean, based off the other stuff I was saying, I would have gotten in here. But if I would have thrown a little bit in, I wouldn't have gotten in this. But just based off like January 1st, like the beginning of the year, we kind of see stuff look nice. If I wasn't doing it from there, I would try to get into here, and I would probably have been knocked out, depending. Either that or yeah. Long story short, I'm not sure what's going on with this right now. Is essentially what I'm saying. That's a lot of man. That's a lot of downwards pressure on this. That's pretty wild. I don't think it's in a horrible place, but I just really don't. I don't like how it looks. I like the last couple hours on it, but that's the only thing that I like about this. That was a big sell down, and it makes it look pretty ugly. Long story short, it just looks pretty ugly. We'll see. The same thing here. I still think this could go up more. I'm sketched. I don't even know if I hate this video because everything really seems like it could just go either way. That's kind of the feeling I get. I could see this pushing up more, but just what it previously done, I could see this falling back down. The dollar index looks pretty nice for that reversal up to 103.6. But then again, even if it does go up to 103.6, that could bring this down to here. And then if it starts moving back down, I could easily see something like that. Um, so that's also something I suppose to keep in mind. GME. Mm, we'll see what happens. We're at 23.30. Nothing too crazy here. We talked about this the other day. I guess the most interesting thing about this is so this isn't really surprising as we saw the other day. This was pretty nice for what it's done here. The one nice thing I guess I could say about this is we might be getting a new day that starts above this 174.14. So this could be very well another good launch spot. And the one thing to kind of note, we can see with the 200 smooth, as we push under it, it becomes very difficult. We push up, but we start the next day under, head back down, boom, right? So, and then here, well, I don't know why it starts so high up. That's a little sketchy, right? Because you want to try to get it around 176 when it's on the top side. And this thing starts all the way, this starts $9, $9.50 higher than where you want to see it. So this isn't really too surprising. But with something like this, as long as it doesn't start all, I mean, if anything could happen. But to look nice, as long as this doesn't start too much higher than like 179, I guess, tomorrow, I could easily see this coming down to 174 and then proceeding to push up even farther. I mean, it looks pretty nice for what it is. I think NVIDIA is a really nice, NVIDIA looks like a pretty nice pick if they can do that. I like NVIDIA. I like Amazon above what is, I think, 99.6 also as well. I think they both look pretty decent so far. I'm not a huge of a fan of PayPal. Royal Caribbean. Oh, Roblox. I was going to say, I don't think Royal Caribbean dropped to 20. Same with Royal Caribbean. It's not as amazing, though. I'm not a big fan of this. Doesn't look horrible, though. Ugh. This is a nice start to the week here. But besides that, I'm not really a big fan of it. It has something that could push it up on the day, but then you have a nice resistance, level resistance right above it. Tesla hasn't entered yet. It looks like it has almost. So Tesla looks like it might actually have a chance to get into this this range between like 128 and 150. So that looks pretty nice. So anyway, I just kind of want to go over those. It is what it is. We'll see what happens, and take care, y'all. Peace.